Hey guys, this is Nathan, and yes, it has been quite some time, but we are back and we are playing Satisfactory. Now we are in update 7, and so we are going to be starting a new world. Now, in the previous playthrough, we went to the northern forest. Lots of trees, lots of uneven ground. It was okay, but I think I'd prefer to do something else. Now, the grass fields is supposed to be pretty flat, but there isn't a lot of good resource nodes there. The rocky desert is kind of what it sounds like, a rocky desert. So I think I want to try the Dune Desert. Now this is supposed to be rather difficult, and one thing that it will force me to do, which is something that I typically don't do, is to skip all of the biomass related energy infrastructure at the beginning. So we will have to try to get to coal power as fast as possible. And the other thing is it's probably going to be difficult to find somewhere to set up coal because water is kind of scarce. Now we are going to skip the intro, so that means we will be starting immediately on tier 1. So let's go ahead and see what we get for our starting location. We're going to have to be ready to go right away because we could have enemies right off the bat. So let's go ahead and get our Xeno Zapper in our hand and just kind of have a look around here. Okay, so we're actually not terribly far away from the forest. But we've got a hog over here. We've got copper. Yeah, we've got a few things. Let's go ahead and see what we've got here as far as iron in the immediate area. Okay, so we've got one just over this ridge, one over there, couple over there. Okay, so that's what that guy is guarding. So that might not be a bad spot. So we know we've got copper there. Let's see about limestone. Okay, so yeah, this doesn't look like a bad spot. So let's go ahead and get rid of this hog here. Please don't be something strong. Okay, yep, just normal guy. And I've figured out a pretty easy way to deal with hogs, and that is to hit them first, back up and strafe, and then hit them again. And 4 hits from the Xeno Zapper will take them out, and so not all that difficult. What? Okay, that's weird. And we do have some trees over here, so not terribly bad. Let's go ahead and grab this little bit of coal here. And so where is this iron? Please don't tell me it's got a rock on top of it. Oh. That would just be my luck. Wow, that was quite a bit of coal. Okay, so here's one of them. Looks like there's another copper over there, so that's not bad. I didn't look at the quality on this. Normal. Well, to start out with, that's probably not too bad. So we've got these. And what have we got under here? Okay, no, that is not actually... Neither one of these was a node, I think. So, yeah, there's slug in there. So somewhere around here, there's got to be another iron node, but I don't know where it's at. Okay, and we've got limestone over there. We've got a slug over here. Just kind of chilling out in the middle of nowhere. Well, based on that, then I think what we want to do is put our starting area like right in about here. This looks like a good spot to start out with. So let's go ahead and set down the hub. And I suppose we'll rotate it around here about... yeah, about like that. That should work. Alright. So, getting started out... no, I don't need the space elevator. Not yet, anyway. So we need base building, which means we need some concrete. We have the plates already, and we need some rods. So I think I need to get some stuff set up here. and I'm starting to lose my voice. I need to get some stuff set up here to harvest, like the iron, copper, start getting some of that stuff taken care of, so, well, and the limestone. So I'll get some of that done, and I will be back. Well, this is pretty nice. Right next to the base, we actually have an oasis. So there's actually quite a bit of biomass here. We will probably be cleaning up the majority of this to power things here at the beginning. But I have gone around and placed down a whole bunch of the portable miners, so at least for starters we'll have a bunch of that stuff. And what I'm probably going to be doing here at the beginning is not using power for the miner Mark 1s right away. And instead, I will be setting up stuff to just dump the resources into a storage container and then let the factories process it. And my gosh, this is dusty. But there is an awful lot of this stuff here. So we are going to have to try to get to I think it's obstacle clearing as quick as we can so that we can get the chainsaw, because the chainsaw will give us a lot more stuff out of here because we'll be able to cut down the trees as well. But also it is going to give us the ability to turn these leaves and petals and wood and everything that we're getting here into solid biofuel, which of course is going to be tremendously better than just burning the leaves. So, yeah, I guess. I'm trying to get a little bit of that stuff set up. Of course, I don't think we have, because we're waiting on base building. We don't have any foundations yet or anything like that. So, yeah, I will just keep working on the stuff by hand for the moment, and I'll see you in a little bit. Well, there has been a very large amount of handcrafting done. So, I have a lot of resources now. And the main reason that I decided to do handcrafting rather than setting up constructors and smelters and things like that was because we just have to tear it all down again anyway as soon as we got our foundations, which we're going to do right now. So let's go ahead and send everything off for our foundations, and now we can actually start building. Yeah, that's really nice, Ada. We know. We totally understand. So I think where we want to start first is actually going to be over here by the concrete, because I mean the concrete takes the most resources of anything. You know, three limestone to one concrete. So I feel like that's going to be the spot to start. So let's take a look at what we just gained. We gained our foundations and ramps. So it does cost the same for all of the different height of foundations, so feel free to use whichever one you feel you need. When I'm building on the ground, I typically always use a 4-meter foundation, and when I go into upper layers, I'll usually only use a 1. Now, one thing that you do want to do, your very first foundations, you want to snap to the world grid. Now, in my case, I have changed that button to be shift, but I believe the standard button, or the default button, is control on that. But from this point, all of the, well, we can see we can go slightly off from that, but this is perfectly north, south, east, and west on its sides. And then also we could go, say, over here and build another foundation. And since they were both snapped to the grid together, they line up perfectly. So that's the advantage of using the world grid to snap things into place. Now the other thing is switching to Zoop mode. So that is done by pressing R. We can also hold R, and that allows us to get the select wheel. Yes, we know, Ada. Please. So yes, with Zoop we can place multiple foundations. Definitely increases the ability to get things done. So since our freighter is back, let's go ahead and see if we can get something else. So I think the other thing that we want to try to get would be the obstacle clearing. I don't know if we have the resources for it, but let's find out. So with obstacle clearing, we do have everything that we need here. So let's go ahead and load up for obstacle clearing. That's going to give us access to the chainsaw. Yes, Ada, I know. So over here we can now make the chainsaw. Now we did just run out of screws because we sent all of them up. So I will have to make some screws in order to be able to make the chainsaw, but then we can start cutting down some of these trees. Now I am kind of curious, this dead tree in the back, it looks like one of the trees from the Titan Forest. And so the Titan Forest, you can't cut down the base of the tree. So I'm kind of curious to see if we're going to be able to cut down the base of that one. But yeah, it looks like I've got some stuff to try to work out here, whether it be getting a factory set up here for the concrete. Definitely going to want to get a factory set up for the biomass and solid biofuel, because those are going to be really important. And then we might start working towards getting our iron and copper over here set up and automated as well. And of course that is going to require us to get into logistics, so we'll just see what we need for that. We've got everything there, we're just waiting for our pod to come back. So I will send that off as soon as the pod gets back, and then I'll continue working on this stuff. So be back in a bit. Well, the first little bit of factories are set up here. Now, we only have 4 factories here currently. We've got one over here making limestone into concrete. And the main reason that I've only done one is because a constructor making concrete needs 45 limestone per minute. And we only have Mark 1 belts at the moment, which will only carry 65 or 60. So we would only be running at 1/3 efficiency on the second constructor, which would just be a waste of power. I would rather have it back up on the belts and we be waiting for the stuff to come out. Now on this side we've got one constructor set up to run wood and turn it into biomass. On the other side we have leaves set up to be turned into biomass. Those two are merged together and then run into a third constructor that will be making the solid biofuel. Now, we are going to be putting the biofuel burners, yeah, I think that's right. But we will be putting our generators over here on this side, and so we want to have them reasonably close to where our solid biofuel is going to be coming out. Now, I don't know for sure if I'm going to be using the biofuel burners that are on the back of the hub. It is kind of nice because of the fact that they only produce 20 megawatts each, and these produce 30. Actually, the 20 megawatts would be perfect for this because these consume 4 megawatts each, so we're only at 16. So we're going to be just slightly over half the capacity of this thing when we turn it on. And maybe this would be a good time to also set up for a little bit of iron. Because, yeah, like I said, we are only using 16 of the 30 that this one will be producing. So we could potentially add up to 3 more factories. So that would be able to be like an alloy smelter. Wow, yeah, just a smelter. So we could potentially add a smelter and then a constructor making plates and maybe even another smelter, and then just be ready for the next little bit. I don't know. I haven't turned this on yet. The biomass that you see coming out of there was stuff that I crafted by hand to fuel our chainsaw. And yes, I did do a little bit of cutting here along the oasis. And obviously I haven't made it over there to the Titan Forest tree yet. But yeah, I haven't turned this on yet, and I feel like I don't want to turn it on until I am ready to utilize the power at 100%. So I am just going to continue gathering up some of the stuff here. You know, I want to have as much power usage as I can before turning all of this on. And I still got a decent amount of stuff constructed, so I'm not terribly concerned. But so I'm just going to keep doing this where I grab the stuff manually, and I'll be collecting all of the leaves and wood and flower petals and everything from along here. And by the way, as far as the flower petals are concerned, something similar to cattails down here in the water. It might be cattails, but the top doesn't quite look right. But yeah, similar to cattails, those give us petals and leaves. And so we will be burning the petals to start out with so that we don't have to waste any of our handcrafted solid biofuel or any of the other stuff. So, yeah. I need to get a couple more of these constructors and smelters set up, hopefully for the iron, and I will be back. Okay, so we have set up our smelter for iron and a constructor for rods, as well as a constructor for plates. And those are just going to be going straight into storage containers. And yes, I know our wire is clipping right through the drone for going into space, but you know, this thing will be moving eventually, so not that big of a deal. So we should have a total of 28 megawatts used now. So if we drop in our pedals, we should be good, and everything should start firing up. So we are now automatically making our solid biofuel, our concrete, and iron plates and iron rods. So, yes, very happy. That is a nice little boost to what we were doing. A lot of the stuff that we were doing by hand is now being automated. So, yes, very happy about that. We need to make sure that we have adequate walking space around these. And of course, we did have to elevate by 1 meter to come up here to the iron area. But we have a fair amount of iron ore ready to go. And as this... Oh, I forgot to set up for iron ingots. Oh, geez. That was almost a big mistake. So, yes. All of this is going now. So, I guess from this point, we are missing concrete. Yep, so we have to wait for resources. In the meantime, I suppose I will collect a whole bunch more of the biomass ingredients from around the oasis, and we'll just let this do its thing for a little while, and when I come back we should have tons of resources available. So our next problem has presented itself, and that is a lack of copper related items. So I have set up here a smelter with the storage container just like we did up on the iron. So this is going to be smelting copper ingots and then turning it into wire in these two constructors. That should be a 1-to-1, because one of the things that I have found is that we are very uneven in our power usage, but that wire will then be coming into this storage container and we can use that later. But so we are going to continue with the same basic thought here that we will be just manually collecting the resources for the moment. But in order to power this, we are going to need additional power. Now, I didn't think that I was going to be using the biomass burners off of the back of the hub, but this is definitely a much more efficient use of our pedals. So we're going to throw this in here. That is going to bump us up to 50 megawatts of capacity now, I believe. Yes, there we go. So now we're at 50 megawatts of capacity, and so then we can connect a cable from here down to there, and all of these should turn on. So of course we're just waiting for our ingots to get through, and once they do, these guys will kick on. And like I said, this is a 1-to-1. We're producing 30 ingots out of the smelter, and these need 15 ingots each. So yeah, that is perfect. We'll get the maximum amount of copper wire out of here that we can get. Now, of course, all of this is temporary. We are going to be tearing every bit of this down later on to make it a little bit better looking and improve our aesthetics. But yes, so there we go. Copper is now going, and yeah, we have rods, we have plates, we have all of that good stuff. So let's go ahead and look at what we've got next in the hub for our tier upgrades, or milestones, I guess. So field research feels like the one that I want next, and that is going to give us the map, which is going to be pretty important, as well as the MAM. The object scanner is not really a big deal, but the inventory slots and the extra hand slot is a really big deal. So we do need some screws for this, so let's go ahead and craft up a bunch of screws manually. But we need the screws, and that's going to give us a whole bunch of additional stuff, so I guess. And with everything ready to go, there we go. Let's get that taken care of. And Ada. Yes, I know. So a whole bunch of stuff from Ada. But the nice part here is now we can have our Xeno Zapper and our chainsaw in our hands at the same time. That's going to be very helpful. Where on earth did we get some silica? Probably the same place that we got some mycelia. So we did get a bit of that stuff. We also got some SAM ore. There was a little deposit of SAM ore over here. I would really like to see them add some use for the SAM ore. But yes, there we go. That's launched off. That did give us some additional slots here in our inventory, which will be very helpful for resource collection as well as building, because at times your inventory gets so full. But then also we have this personal storage box, and this is nice. It takes, I believe, the same amount of resources to build one of these as it does one of the big storage containers, but these guys actually have slightly more space in them. They've got one additional spot for inventory, and we can store items in them that we don't need automatically put into factories or anything like that. So they are really handy. So, yes, at this point, it's going to be pushing further into trying to get some of this stuff automated. We do have a substantial amount of power surplus at the moment, so I would kind of like to get, maybe some additional iron processing, and then some of our cables, or some of our wires, I would like to see processed into cables. So, I suppose I'm going to try to get some of that figured out, and I'll be back. Well, this is interesting. There's like some type of an invisible hitbox here. I would imagine it's from these branches. But, yeah, that's kind of interesting. So, yeah, I can't get in there. That's just kind of weird. So, let's see if we cut these. Nope, does not remove it. So, yeah, we can't remove the Titan tree either, so yeah, there's going to be a little bit of space here that we cannot use. Now, one thing that I have been trying to do here in removing all of this stuff is to try to take out as many of the rocks that are around here as possible. Now, we can come through here later and remove those with nobelisks, but for the moment... Ooh, inventory's full. For the moment, it's just kind of... we try to remove as many as we can. We'll probably be building over the top of it anyway, so we won't really see it. But I did add a miner Mark 1 on top of our iron, because I realized that, well, that was a normal node, so we can get a decent amount of iron out of that. So let's see here. We did not get anything there. So yeah, just got to come by here, drop everything off. Looks like we've got way more leaves than we can handle at the moment. Now, because of all of the additional constructors and everything that I added, I did energize both of the biomass burners on the hub. So we currently have a capacity of 70 and our maximum consumption is 69. So, I mean, we are pushing up there. Our next step would be to shut one of these down and build another one of those. So, yeah, at the moment, we're just going to leave this running the way that it is, and I'll just be fueling these with the pedals as I go. So yes, we have quite a bit more capacity down here in the iron area. I have added 2 more constructors for plates, and so we have another smelter as well. But so plates, we are getting quite a few of those. Rods, we have quite a few of those, but also I split again on the first smelter because we weren't using it to full capacity, and set up for another constructor making rods that is being turned into screws. So we are also automating screws. Now these are fully automated. We don't even have to touch this anymore. All that we have to do is come over here and grab what we need. Now further down here in the copper area, I did set up one constructor here to turn the wire into cable. Now unfortunately right now we are using every bit of our wire and turning it into cable. So we may need to look at getting another constructor or two set up for making wire, which would also mean another smelter. But I did take all of the excess portable miners from the iron and set them down here in the copper, so now we can get a huge amount of copper, which is kind of nice. Now as far as our limestone and concrete is concerned, we are actually very slow on that. We are probably going to want to set up some better infrastructure there, but at the moment we're kind of stuck with the speed that our conveyor belts can handle. Now we are very close to being able to do the Logistics Mark II. So yeah, we just need some more plates and some rod. Actually, we have everything for that. So let's go ahead and grab some plates and rods, and let's get our Logistics Mark II. So we'll just go ahead and grab everything here. Now that does mean that we are going to have to get our reinforced iron plates up and running too, which will require the part assembly. But I want to get this Logistics Mark II, which is going to allow us to move a lot more items. So let's go ahead and select this, drop in our reinforced iron plates, concrete, rods, and plates to that, and here we go. And of course we will shut up, Ada. So we will be able to increase our capacity for concrete now, which is really good. The Mark II belts can move 120 items per minute, whereas the Mark I's can only move 60. So we will be a tiny bit short, but we can now go up to 3 constructors for making concrete. That will triple our speed. And yeah, I've been grabbing the concrete out of here, and it's slow going. I mean, of course, we're only producing 15 per minute. We can push that up to about 40 per minute. That would be great. And actually 40 per minute is what it should be based on the input speed. So yes, I think that's what I'm going to work on now. And potentially getting ready for the assembler chain as well. So unfortunately, we did just overload our power system just a moment ago. So I have now set up a second full-size biomass burner, and I shut down one of the ones back here. So we're currently at 80 megawatts of capacity and 77 on our max consumption. Now, of course, you can see that is spiking a lot, but that's fine. We can deal with that. But we need to come over here and grab a couple of things because, well, our pod is back and we need to do one more thing. So let's go ahead and grab basically everything that we've got here right now. We'll grab all of the screws. We will grab all of the rods. We're not going to grab, well, no, I guess we will grab all the plates. We don't have a huge number of them, but the final thing that we want to get is our part assembly. So part assembly will require 200 cables, 200 rods, 500 screws, and 300 plates, and that is going to allow us to start making the part assemblers. So shut up, Ada. And the part assembler will allow us to automate now the production of our reinforced iron plates. So that'll be good because I made 100 of those and we're down to 10 now. So, yes. Now, I believe to make the part assemblers, we also need rotors, which are made with rods and screws. So, if we look down here, yep, rotors. So, we'll make up a few of those by hand, and then what we'll need to do is we will need to set up both for reinforced plates and the rotors. And once we get those going, then we can start looking at making some of our more complex stuff. Wow, words. So, yes, I am going to be expanding a whole bunch more here, and we'll be probably needing more power very soon. But that is going to be it for this one. So I'm going to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to give a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any thoughts about me coming back to Satisfactory, or anything that you want to see me work on, anything that I could do to improve the layouts of my factory, anything like that, be sure to let me know down in the comments, and I will see you next time. And bye!